Welcome to the B-listers, a podcast about movies. Each week, we'll discuss a different movie, whether it's a new release or a silent film from almost 100 years ago. We'll leave no stone unturned. I'm Benji.
I'm Brendan.
And this week, we watched Parasite, the 4-time Academy Award-winning movie.
4-time, you got that down?
Yeah, I looked it up right before we started.
All right, well, that's good. Yeah, so this is diving into some new territory.
Yep.
And we're getting into...
I'm excited.
God, dude, I'm beyond excited right now. This is... I've been a fan of this director for quite a while now. We both share a kind of love for one of his films, Snowpiercer.
Great movie.
2013. Yeah, so his filmography is actually pretty highly renowned and loved. Bong Joon-ho. Before we get too far into this, I am horrible at pronouncing Korean names. Do my best to do this justice, but we'll see. Most notably, I think the first film I saw from him was The Host, and that's more
sounds really familiar.
Yeah, it's more of a alien invasion kind of story.
Okay,
phenomenal film. Just his overall filmography is just exceptional. His direction, his attention to detail is probably the most notable. We saw it in Snowpiercer, which is also the first class dissection, if you want to call it, that he obviously does here in Parasite. He also did one of my other favorites that we just recently rewatched was Okja.
Oh, yes.
Netflix
You've told
original.
me about that
Yes,
one. I've heard really good things about it.
A study on the food service industry and the importance of sustainable food.
Right.
Heart-wrenching movie, but another one.
Yeah.
Long story short, this man is an incredible director. I challenged Benji to watch this, and I can't believe that he actually sat down and enjoyed it, to be honest.
It was great. I loved every minute of it.
God, that makes me so happy. And the fact that you didn't watch it, but Lee watched it with you, which I think is amazing. Definitely one that Stephanie watched. We got the movie. We heard good things.
Yeah.
We sat down.
You didn't see it in theaters?
No, we did not see it in theaters.
Wow. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of too. No, okay, so no, that the thing is it wasn't here.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think our art house got it.
Yeah.
The guild.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Needless to say, we did not know what the heck we were watching. Okay.
Fair. I also didn't really know. Like, I had heard some things about it before we sat down and watched it.
Yeah. But nobody actually gave away anything, right?
No.
Okay, good.
Because Lee likes to spoil movies for herself, so she knew everything that happened.
She looks up all the stuff, right?
Yeah,
she wants to know the ending.
She read
before
the ending, so she knew what was going to happen.
Goodness.
So when it came out, and there was like all that buzz about it, she like read about it. I was like, I don't really want to watch this movie, but you can watch it.
Yeah.
And then when we got to it, she's like, yeah, I'll watch it with you, even though I know what happens. And I was like, don't tell me. Like when she read about it originally, she told me the gist of it, but didn't give anything away. But also that was like 2 years ago, so I didn't remember anything she told me.
There's no way to describe that and experience it and know exactly what you're watching. So at the core of it, Parasite is, like I said before, a class dissection, in meaning upper class, lower class, middle class, something that is extremely prominent in day-to-day life to this day. And the reason I think in 2019 this film was so popular, because that was a very prominent issue in 2019. Yeah. It was very, it was brought up again, just in the news, just everywhere. Who has a better, lower, whatever it is. But Bong Joon-ho was able to capture everything about that perfectly. And he does it in such incredible ways. Directing, cinematography. I don't believe I can pronounce this man's name. Hong Kyung-poi is their cinematographer. Okay. Who takes all credit to everything that you're seeing. I mean, every single...
It was... Gosh. One of the notes I have here is how good the cinematography is. Yeah. Like, it makes you feel like you're there. Which most movies don't really do that. Like, it feels like you're watching a movie, but this movie, like, you feel like you're in it.
So one thing that was achieved that way is everything is almost shot eye level.
Wow. I like, that didn't process when I was watching it, but now that you said that, I'm like, oh.
So watching this movie, I think this is my 5th or 6th time watching it. everything for the most part is shot eye level. So everything you're experiencing, if there's a conversation between two people, you're seeing it as it's happening. And I think that's what pulls you in to be able to be there.
Right.
There's a lot of pan shots. There's a lot of shots that just keep you focused on what the camera is focused on. They're not trying to show anything else around it. They're really just showing what's happening right in front of you. That's what makes me nerd out. All the stuff right there.
Yeah.
But so far, I mean, the story is almost pretty basic at the core of it. I mean, you have a family. We're introduced to the Kim family, who is pretty much living with nothing.
Yeah. They're just like literally just scraping by. They're in a basement,
which that's the first kind of parallel or whatever you want to call it to lower class. They're underneath. They're in ground. Okay. We're also, one of the biggest kind of setups that I really enjoyed in that first sequence was the stink bug.
Yeah.
So they're sitting there eating, or they're sitting there doing their thing, and Mr. Kim, the father, looks up and he's like, damn stink bugs. And he flicks a stink bug off.
Yeah.
And it just shows how bad the living situation is, right, and how
like that's obviously like a common thing that happens.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we're also quickly introduced to how each family member interacts, and how each family member has their own kind of, not necessarily set skills yet, but yeah, so that's kind of the first sign of just how difficult this living situation is.
How poor they are.
And that kind of begs a couple questions that are we looking at, are they doing this on purpose? Are they doing this out of spite of the government? Or I'm sorry, are they living this way?
Right. Like intentionally?
Intentionally, because you see each one, how they speak and how intellectual they are.
Right.
Which is incredible. And it just kind of, it makes you wonder, are they con artists? Are they doing a whole slew of questions appear. My biggest takeaway is just how low they are.
Right.
We're kind of introduced to a side character that sets up this massive con.
Yeah.
Introduces
which
us.
He's introducing it not as a con though. He's bringing it forth as like a business opportunity.
What I took away from it is that it's a business opportunity, but also he notices the son, the Kim's son, sorry, Kevin.
Oh yeah, that too.
I'm gonna try to use the English names because they're given English names throughout. Yeah.
Kevin.
I think he did this in a sense to get him a hookup, because they were talking about the daughter. They're talking about how the Park family daughter that needs tutoring, and this is an opportunity to, one, get to know this good-looking girl, possibly start a relationship with, but also a very wealthy job opportunity,
right?
Which you can't pass up,
right?
One thing I really loved about that scene was just that scene alone depicting social class, is that you have this really elegant looking young man offering the son, the Kim family, the Kim son, some soju, which is, it's a rice alcohol.
Okay.
And just seeing how each one is drinking. I mean, these are just little things that I kind of noticed right away, which I love.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to start somewhere. We usually do this near the end, but I just want to know, you loved it.
Yep.
Okay. What were you expecting at all? Anything? But besides what Lee saw, whatever, were you expecting anything? Did the name give anything away? Did the title even cross your mind?
A little bit. Like, I knew obviously something was going to happen once the whole family was like in the house.
Yeah.
And I thought that like once they all went camping, that they were going to like, I don't know, take over the whole house. And then when the family came back, I thought they were going to like take them hostage and just like live their lives. That was what I thought.
I can see that.
Or like do something along those lines.
Yeah. That each one successfully put themselves into this household, that they were going to keep it.
Right.
Okay. No, yeah. I like that.
But I'm so glad I was wrong. Like, not that that's like a bad plot, but that it took a much different turn than I expected, and I really, really enjoyed it.
It's nice to go into a movie and be surprised. It's nice to go into and have expectations from the first 15 minutes and
be dead wrong.
It's dead wrong. That's one thing that this film is definitely praised for, is that there's two distinct tones.
Yes.
And
I know exactly when it switches.
That's the whole point. That's the beauty of this filmmaking. That's why it got so much praise. It's literally halfway through the movie, which most directors can't do.
Yeah.
And won't do.
Yeah.
Because we use this term a lot, jumping the shark.
Right.
Which is going so far out there and so deep into some unknown territory that it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Or you can literally revert back to that episode of Happy Days.
Jump in the shark.
Fonzie jumps the shark.
Fonzie jumps the shark. That's exactly
the worst visual effects you've ever seen in your entire life, even for the time.
Hey. Sorry. But this film successfully takes a 180. Yeah. And it keeps you. And even though that you know that this film just did a 180, you don't know. You're still like, still watching the same movie.
It takes like a couple minutes at least before you're like, oh, something crazy is actually going on here.
So that's just incredible to me. So we're introduced to the Park family a little further on, and now it's pretty obvious and pretty clear what we're in for about social society. This house, the Park family house, is probably the most amazing house I've ever seen.
It's a great house.
It's an amazing. It's super modern, super. I mean, I did architect in high school, yeah, and this is the kind of house in high school where my architect teacher was like, "Nerd, now this would be that kind of house. Straight lines, super. I mean, high levels, multiple levels. I mean, it's just amazing." So this family has a lot of wealth, and we're kind of shown the first intentional divide.
Uh-huh.
Now, I didn't know about this going into the movie at first. Bong Joon-ho uses a technique that literally divides his characters.
Okay.
And the first time we see it is when Kevin shows up at the house, and the housekeeper goes and gets Mrs. Park.
Right.
We're looking down, and there's a distinct window line that separates Mrs. Park and the housekeeper.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because you see him out the window, and she's like asleep on the patio table or whatever.
That is intentional. That's the first one of, I think, 3 or 4 that shows just how
a division of
class, right? You have the housekeeper who, little old lady, scraping by, just doing what she can, and then you have this woman that has more money than she possibly needs.
Right. Almost from the moment she was on screen, I felt like the housekeeper was suspicious. Like, she showed up and started talking, and I wrote that down. Like, I took a note on that. I was like, there's something up with her. And then later on, I thought that it was just nothing because they got rid of her. But we'll get into that.
I agree with that. Bit. I agree with that. There was something.
I was like, there's something, like, just something off.
Yeah.
That I couldn't quite place.
It was her acting. It's her dialogue. Everything about it was just kind of strange. Mm-hmm. And as you just said, I was the same way that once we get later on and this housekeeper's let go, oh, okay, she's gone.
Yeah, like I was literally, like, cool, she's not going to be here anymore.
5 minutes later, she's out of your mind. Mm-hmm. You know, call us ignorant, call us whatever, but that's kind of just where our minds went, and I completely agree with that. There was each character has something special. I mean, each one, whether it be the acting, whether it be the actual directing itself, has this presence. Mm-hmm. And the father, the Kim father, our main character here, to me, embodies everything that Korean film is. Just his expressions, just the way he speaks, the way he holds himself, his mannerisms. One scene later on when they're getting drunk after they go camping, when he grabs his wife. Remember that whole scene
like
where
as
the joke? That right there, that's wild, man.
I was like, what?
Yep. Incredible acting. Now, were you suspicious, or what were your thoughts on the entire Park family?
I felt like there was something weird going on there, but nothing that... I think I knew that whatever was weird with their family wasn't totally relevant to the story.
Yes.
They were just a little bit off, but it was like, that's just how they are.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And when you have that much money, you don't see things.
Right.
And that's what this other family takes advantage of is that now we're seeing the abuse of the ignorance, which I thought was really well done, that the mother is super bubbly, super kind of not aware of her surroundings.
Yeah, she just wants everyone to like her.
She wants everyone to like her. She's the mom, like we see later on in the movie. She's the mom that likes to party and likes to organize. Yeah. And she wants this big old extravagant thing. And the father, definitely a very well-respected businessman that plays a very important part later on his status. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the children, which I think the daughter, I never really kind of focused on. She was just kind of off to the side. I didn't really see anything important there.
Yeah.
But that little boy.
Yeah.
Dasong.
He's very intuitive.
That little boy, man. He plays, I mean, he's...
That little kid's players. A good actor, man.
Oh, look, freaking great actor, man. I love their whole communicating over the walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
And the whole thing where it's like, Korean language has... It's kind of like Spanish. They have a way of incorporating English so beautifully. And it's like over.
Yeah.
And it's just like this whole like, oh, I love that. That was so good. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary in the house at first? And I think you know where I'm heading with this.
Not really, no.
Okay. After the second viewing, it becomes very apparent. Me and Stephanie were watching this, and I was freaking out every time it happened. The lights.
Oh, the flickering lights?
The stair lights.
Yeah.
Okay. The first instant we see that, Mr. Park's walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
You think nothing of it.
Right.
Motion lights.
Yeah, you think they just turn on and off.
They turn it on and off. That happens throughout the entire movie before the reveal. They only go on for him. Mm-hmm. But it's every time somebody else walks up the stairs, if they're walking up in order, they only go on when Mr. Park's walking up. Okay? So that was a big indication. That's something you never see or you never notice until...
Right. It just doesn't really cross your mind.
It doesn't cross your mind.
It didn't cross mine at all.
At all. The other thing that didn't cross my mind, the presence of stairs is everywhere.
Right.
Steps everywhere. I mean, the house has massive steps up, massive steps down. Yeah. The Kim family has to go down a lot of steps to get to their house.
Right.
That is the social divide right there.
Yeah. From what I can remember now, you almost always see the Park family walking upstairs, and the Kim family is always going down.
Yes.
Which I just made that connection just now that you said that.
That's the point. That's the point. And the biggest notice of that is, again, when we get to that divide in the middle of the movie, when they finally succeed to get out of the house. They have to go. There's a long sequence or a long shot of them having to go down the steps in the rain.
Right.
That's the most steps we've seen. We never saw them go that low.
Yeah.
But that's them descending back.
Yeah, it's like they're hitting their lowest point.
So they were up on top. They were living in the house. They were doing everything they could. And they lost it.
Right.
And they have to descend back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's just, wow. That's all I can say.
Kevin is like becoming the girl's tutor.
Yeah, so we get Kevin as the tutor. We get Jessica, his sister, introduced as Dasong's art teacher.
Right. Because he says that she's like his sister's friend who went to school in Chicago. Which
very well played out, and just shows the level of con that each of these family members have. That instinctively Kevin knew and thought what to say.
Right.
Sold it. Knew exactly what she wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And it was done.
Yeah.
Next day, Jessica shows up. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. One thing I like about Jessica's part is that she's an actor at its core. The character is an actor at its core, and she's able to successfully sell a true lie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When she's talking about the son and the schizophrenic side.
Mm-hmm. Like the corner.
The corner of the paintings, yeah. And how it's a very true statement. It's something that, is obviously used, but she's manipulating her.
Yeah.
Just incredible. And that's our first instance of something's wrong with this kid.
Right.
We don't know exactly what. Could it be important? Couldn't be important. That's our first sign. And then we're kind of, the parents, the Kim family parents, Mrs. Kim and Mr. Kim, they figure out a way to get in.
Right.
We find out that, Mr. Kim's a driver. He
used to drive cabs and work as like a valet.
So we pull him in. Very, very
set a trap for their current driver.
Set a trap. Very interesting scene in the movie. Taking the underwear and kind of manipulate. Yeah. And then we get the Mrs. Kim in as the new housekeeper, like we said before. But they successfully make up this lie about this housekeeper,
right?
And go to great freaking lengths, to sell that she has tuberculosis.
Yeah, dude. Just that whole scene leading up to that was incredible. Like with them like shaving like the peach fuzz off of the peaches and like sprinkle it on her every time they walk.
Which I didn't realize. For one thing, I didn't realize people were that allergic to peaches.
Yeah, I mean people are that allergic to anything.
I get that, but it's like. But they're able to pretty much almost kill this lady with an allergic reaction,
right?
And get her out of the house, and that's it. That's as far as the viewer is concerned, she's gone, and then we get the peak, the living high.
Yeah, so the Park family goes off to go camping. For Jasong's birthday. Yep.
And we get the party sequence, which everybody, everyone loves to see, is that they're sitting around drinking, getting drunk, eating all the family, eating all the food,
just making a mess.
Which again shows this dynamic between this family that is super unnatural.
Right.
They don't act as a family.
They act as like they're like just buds.
They act as their friends, but they also act as their like co-stars.
Right.
Which is really strange.
I mean, in that situation, they technically are.
Yeah. And then how they're like starting to fantasize that if Kevin marries this daughter, this will be the in-laws' house, and they can live there. It's just the alcohol, the high off living there is just peaking. And then that darn doorbell, man.
Oh my gosh! And that's the moment the whole movie.
That's the shift.
Turns around.
Yep.
And you feel it too. Like the doorbell rings, and
Silence.
Just like it's silent. Like the whole tone shifts. I feel like. I don't think the lighting actually changes, but it feels like it does. I don't think it does.
I'd have to rewind. That's definitely a good observation. Is that there's everything changes.
Yeah.
Your whole perspective on what you're watching is
like you can feel your own just like stomach drop.
Yeah.
Like you're like, what's going on?
The first time I watched it, I didn't realize that I was a housekeeper until she got into the house, because she was.
Oh, I did the second. Okay. As soon as she showed up, I was like, oh, that's the.
She was kind of it's raining out, whatever, and it just didn't. I think I was too. I was living the high they were living.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that makes sense.
Cool, oh, this is gonna be good,
Which I didn't realize is intentional.
Exactly. So now we get this housekeeper that. Why in God's name does she need to get back to the house?
Yeah, so badly.
So badly, and then she bypasses everybody, runs down to the basement.
And is down there for like a few minutes, and the mom's just like sitting up at the dining room table as the family's hiding. And they're like, "Go see what she's doing."
Yeah,
go check her.
And that to me, I'm like, all right, what is she doing? And I can remember the shock I felt seeing her trying to push this wall.
Yeah, like the bookshelf.
I'm like, what the heck is she doing? What
she's
the
like
heck?
Spider-Manning up on the wall.
Yeah.
And I was like...
I literally wrote that down. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, it was creepy.
And it shifts. Mm-hmm. And that is also kind of a shift in the camera movements and how he was directing it, is that now we focus right into the back of Miss Kim as she's following her down the stairs.
Yeah,
we get
into like the bunker type.
Yep, this underground bunker. We get a lighting shift. Now we get a noticeable lighting shift.
Right.
Green.
Oh, yeah.
Parasite. Everything plays off each other. It's amazing. And we just keep descending, and it's another level of social class. Mm-hmm. Wherever we're going is even below the Kim family.
Right.
That's the scary part, is that it's able to kind of distinguish these things. And we say, there's a freaking man living down there.
Yeah.
There's been somebody living down there.
For who knows how long.
I think they said 4 years. I don't know if that. Yeah, 4 years.
Ever since the Park family moved in there.
Yes. Which is the housekeeper's husband. Mm-hmm. And I just got to say, man, this is one creepy looking dude.
Yeah.
This is one creepy looking dude.
His eyes are all like,
yeah.
He's all bug eyed and he's just kind of balding a little bit.
Which was 100% intentional, because even the way he walks.
That was terrifying. It's just spooky.
It's spooky, man. And that's going to lead into the song's story arc and his part of it.
Yeah.
But it's just this whole nother dynamic of somebody living below this house, surviving. Now we get a reason why the housekeeper's there.
Yeah.
Why she's been working there for so long. She's been feeding this man. why is he down there?
Right.
Well, it turns out, I mean, the first time around, I was kind of confused. I actually personally thought I misinterpreted that he was the actual architect of the house.
Oh.
Misinterpreted that. He's just
her husband.
Mm-hmm. And I guess he made a bad gamble, borrowed some money.
Yeah.
And is
like a bunch of times.
Yeah, and is fearful for his life now. Mm-hmm. What happens after is probably one of the most stressful sequences in any movie from that year, is watching a literal volcano explode.
Yeah.
Within 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because when the mom goes down to the basement and follows the housekeeper, her family follows because the housekeeper doesn't know that they're there. So they're like sneaking down. And then I think the son, Kevin, trips and knocks, and they all fall down. And so the housekeeper like takes a video on her phone. And that's when everything kind of hits the fan.
You have con artists playing con artists.
Yeah.
You have parasites invading parasites.
Yeah.
Which is just another, I mean, why this movie is so special and so amazing. Mm-hmm. And now it's this struggle of poor Park family, man. You have these two families struggling. Who's going to keep the house, you know?
Who gets to live off of them?
Who gets
for the
to
rest
live
of their
off
lives?
of them, you know? Who gets to use and abuse them?
Yeah.
And just like any good, crazy sequence, it's got to come to an end. And lo and behold, the family's on their way home within a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, when
it really starts to...
Yeah, when it really... important things happen with the Kim family overcoming the housekeeper and her husband.
Right.
Mr. Kim being able to bound the housekeeper's husband. Uh-huh. But on top of this, we have everyone else running around trying to hide their tracks.
Yeah, trying to clean up.
Which is always a stressful scene in any kind of movie. That whole down to the wire, I should say. And then that poor housekeeper. I got to say, man, she's almost dying of an allergic reaction. And now she gets a darn concussion.
Yeah, she gets kicked down the stairs.
I
thought she was dead. Like, as soon as she hit her head on the wall after falling down the stairs, I was like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You go down there, and it's like, I mean, especially when Mr. Kim goes back up and feels the blood.
Yeah.
Like, she's gone.
Yeah.
Then, oh, no, she's breathing.
Whatever.
Yeah. They all try to hide or whatever, and again, successfully get out of the house. But that's, I think, one of the most important parts is when Jessica, after they get out of the house, she asks a really important question to the dad, which is, what's the plan? Which is something that sets up pretty much the second half of the movie, is this idea of a plan.
Right.
And if we have a plan or if you don't have a plan. And he says, I have a plan. And
yeah.
He never discloses what he says or what he's thinking. But you can tell there's a shift.
Yeah.
In his eyes, there's a shift.
You can see, and like when after the Park family comes home, you can see the shift.
Yeah.
Because there's the scene where the Park parents are on the couch.
Yes. Oh God.
But the dad talks about how bad Mr. Kim smells, and you can it cuts to Mr. Kim because they're all hiding under the coffee table, and you can see like his face change at that moment. So I think that's really when he's like, oh, I really hate this family.
Not only does he hate this family, but you feel bad for him. Mm-hmm. You feel bad for
100%.
him because no one likes to be looked down upon.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially if you're like the head of the household.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially the man of the house, you know. But not just in the household, but in society. I mean, we all go out, we all have friends. No one likes to be that bottom. No one likes to be the person that everyone talks about or like makes comments about. And that's definitely what was happening, is that hearing Mr. Park talk about, he's like, did you smell him?
Yeah.
It smells like, what he said,
like
a
old
wet
radishes.
rag. Yeah, or old rag. And which, if you think back, was the pesticides, lack of proper soap, lack of proper washing, living in the sewers, all that kind of stuff. And seeing him, Kang Ho Sung, Kim.
Yeah, the actor.
Has been in, I think, every single one of Bong Joon-ho's movies. I could be wrong.
Most of them, I bet.
It's his main lead. It's his muse. Just, I mean, his face drops. And there's a couple seconds where he's laying there with his eyes closed, just in sadness.
Yeah.
And then he lifts his shirt up and he smells himself, you know.
That was a tough part.
That's sad,
like,
man.
I couldn't even imagine.
Because he's just, Mr. Park is just going
off.
Just how bad this guy smells. And, You know, there's something wrong with him, all this stuff. And that's, like you said, is the moment when his plan changes.
Mm-hmm.
And from that moment on, a couple big parallels that I noticed, which I really, really liked. The Kim family gets back to their house. Unfortunately, it is completely 100% flooded.
Yeah. It was like raining a bunch, and it sounded like there was like a sewer line break.
They were neck deep in sewage waste.
Yeah.
In their house. And they have to go and be kind of refugees, in a sense, in this giant community ballpark area, whatever.
Yeah.
The parallel I'm talking about is that now we're looking at the Park family getting ready for this party.
Right.
She walks in, Mrs. Park walks into her closet. I mean, and every woman wants a closet like this.
I think every person
wants a closet like this. We're talking probably the size, this room we're sitting in doubled or tripled.
Yeah.
You know, and literally shifts to the Kim family being handed
someone else's clothes.
Yeah. And them picking through that. Mm-hmm. So it's, again, they're at the bottom. They were got to the top, and now they're back at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This is pretty much all set up for this incredible party sequence.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice was Mrs. Park smelling him, too. So after that whole conversation...
when he was driving her around, she rolls the window down.
She's doing that. Like, she rolls the window down, and he notices it right away.
Yeah, and smells himself.
And you just see him just, again...
Not upset this time, just angry.
Just angry. Pure anger.
I want to point out real quick in the scene, when they get back home and their apartment's flooded, you see the housekeeper's husband down below, like, banging on the light in Morse code.
That's right. No, thank you.
But what I noticed is when they were back at the flooded apartment, the light there was flickering. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is that also Morse code in some way?
Stephanie asked that. She asked that. She's like,
I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed that.
Do you think that that says something?
Yeah.
And I kind of brushed it off. I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know.
But it felt too convenient to be back to back like that.
Now I'm glad you brought that up, because I totally forgot about that. Was that whole thing that the housekeeper husband is infatuated
with Mr. Park.
And the reason he's so infatuated with this man is because he's pretty much kept him alive.
Right.
The money, everything. And in Korean culture and Asian culture, you see it really in Japanese and Korean, the term respect is not on any level that we can understand.
Right.
It's way above that. They will do anything. They will say anything. It's true respect.
Yeah. It's more like, with him, it's more like he worships him.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was what he's been doing, is that he's communicating with him, or trying to, with Morse code.
Yeah, with the son.
And he's like, Dasong is a smart kid. He knows Morse code.
He was in the Boy Scouts.
He'll figure it out. He says that. That Morse code will definitely come up later.
Yeah.
So before we get too deep into the party,
yes.
Did you notice the importance of that gift from the very beginning? The stone.
Kind of.
The one that...
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I didn't totally understand it.
So this stone is a known gift or art piece, whatever you want to call it. Uh-huh. But it was a gift to the Kim family, and it's called a scholar stone. And throughout the entire movie, the focus of this stone is very present.
Yeah.
The first sequence we see, again, we're going to kind of jump back and forth here in the beginning. We're shown Mrs. Kim actually washing the stone in the background of one of the scenes.
Yeah.
So she's back there scrubbing it.
Right.
So in other words, this family kind of idolizes this stone.
Right.
And as a scholar stone, it's supposed to bring, I think, good fortune and good luck. Mm-hmm. That ends up kind of taking away good fortune and luck.
Yeah.
It's definitely the embodiment of what this family wants.
Right.
And that's the reason why, leading into this party, after each of the Kim family members is kind of at their breaking point, Kevin brings it with him.
Yeah.
So that's how it gets into the house.
Yeah. Because when they're like all sleeping as like a community because everyone's house flooded.
He's got it.
Yeah. Well, and the Mr. Kim tells him, he's like, my plan is that I don't have a plan.
Yeah.
He's like, essentially he's just going to leave the housekeeper and her husband down there to rot.
Yeah, and he's going to just either go day to day or whatever happens. Yeah. And he's going to just go with it.
Just going to let it happen.
Just let it happen.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, my plan is I have no plan.
Yeah.
which plays a big part in the end. It's just the stone itself was very symbolic, and it's interesting that Kevin, who was gifted the stone, ends up taking the brunt end of the stone in a sense.
Literally.
But we're finally opening up to this party sequence, which is visually incredibly and stunning.
Yeah.
Bright colors. I mean, music and just everything is just pleasing every sense of you, and you know that there's something's not right.
Something bad is gonna happen.
Something's not right.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we get our first. Oh no, I'm sorry. I skipped over part of the kid's story.
Uh-huh.
So why it's so important that they're kind of coddling this kid, Dasong.
Oh, right.
Because one of his birthdays,
uh-huh.
got up like any kid does, wanted some more cake.
Yeah, in the middle of the night.
Middle of the night, goes and starts eating the cake, sitting there.
Oh gosh.
Unfortunately,
the creepiest scene in the whole movie.
The creepiest scene in the entire movie. The housekeeper's husband,
because it's the middle of the night.
Middle of the night, wants to get some food. So this kid doesn't see it that way. Of course, this kid has no idea what's going on.
Oh no, absolutely.
Looks over, and all you see is the man staring at him.
Yeah, just like the top,
just his
half
eyes.
of his head.
At first, I thought he was wearing glasses, but that's just the dude's eyes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting the goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, it was so creepy.
For a 10-year-old child to see that. He was
not, at that point, I think that was his 4th birthday.
Yeah. That's some traumatizing stuff right there, man. Oh my
gosh, dude, yeah.
But that's the reason we're having this party. That's why this mother is so...
That's why they always go camping for his birthday.
Or do something. They want to distract him.
Right.
And that's why they also work on art. Mentally, there's something going on. So this big party is planned out, is set in stone. We're seeing little things start to come through, like Kevin
being really distant,
but his also like he looked like sick. He looked like he was dead inside. So we knew something was going on there. I think the only one with a level head right now was Jessica and the mother, Mrs. Kim.
Because at that point, neither of them knew what was really going on.
Yeah. They didn't
Mr. Kim had hit his breaking point. Jessica had been treated fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're seeing that, and the looming question is, what are we going to do with this family or these two people down below? So Kevin decides he's going to take it upon himself. And I think he took it upon himself to go
kill them.
Yeah.
That's why I took the stone down there with him.
He was.
That was what I took from it.
Yeah.
Like he was going to go down there and he was going to murder them.
Yep.
So they wouldn't have to worry about it.
They wouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah. They could just close the door. Yeah.
That was 100% what I assumed was going to happen.
Well, unfortunately, this dude, this husband escapes.
Well, Kevin's walking down the stairs and he drops the stone. Which, again, looking down, I love the camera work. Looking down on the stairs, distant, stone tumbling, stops, quiet, amazing. Yeah.
But somehow this man had broken free of his bondage, his
duct tape.
And no, Lee made a good point. The wife, on the verge of death, decides to go and kind of do what she can to get him out. Probably gets him enough
so he can help
himself out. But unfortunately, that's the end of the housekeeper.
Yeah, she succumbs to her injuries.
Yeah. Concussion, head trauma. Can't imagine.
Yeah,
going down a flight of stairs and smacking your head, dude. The thing with him trying to choke out this kid, man.
Yeah.
And of course, this kid's not knowing. He doesn't know what's going on. He can't think straight. And the next thing, the only thing I can think of is how in God's name does this kid survive? Okay, so he gets up the stairs, gets pretty much choked down, gets on the ground. The dude takes the stone and smashes his head.
Yeah.
Twice.
Second time, Lily just throws it down.
Throws it at him. And we're talking about a stone that's probably 40, 50 pounds.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. How? This whole movie is just, you're in awe.
Yeah. As soon as that happened, I was like, oh, he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah. And he goes upstairs, and now we're seeing that he's kind of, the parasite is out.
Yeah.
And free to do what he wants, and takes it out on this family, the Kim family, during this party.
Yeah.
Which...
The scene of him just because when he comes up, his forehead's all bloody.
Yeah.
From smashing the light to make the Morse code.
Yeah.
He just grabs a knife and just walks out to the party. And just when he walks out there, nobody notices him at first because he's standing behind everybody, and they're all singing to the son because it's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
So Jessica's handing him the cake, and just the shot of him standing behind all the partygoers and nobody noticing him, but him just covered in blood holding a knife was so jarring.
So even with the halfway point, I did not see this coming. I did not see that.
Oh my gosh, I didn't either.
We were about to witness in Korea a mass murder pretty much, like this attack. And sure enough, man, like he takes that knife straight through Jessica's heart, like straight through her heart. And there was no way. For a second there, you kind of thought maybe
she'll make it.
Yeah. And then once she says, don't put pressure on it, it hurts. And he stops. Mr. Kim stops. She's dead. Yeah. Poor kid, man. Desong, poor kid, seeing that.
As soon as he saw that guy, he passed out.
He passes out, and, you know.
I would too. Jesus.
Mr. Kim kind of finally breaks too and takes all of his anger out. Everything that he was feeling, everything, his plan, that, again, playing along with what's happening, goes and just stabs the crap out of friggin' Mr. Park. So that was...
Was it when Jessica was dying that she grabbed, like, the skewer and stabbed... The housekeeper's husband? Was it the mother?
That was Mrs. Kim. Okay. That was Mrs. Kim.
Oh, yeah, because he was trying to stab her, but he didn't get to. Yeah. And she grabbed, like, the big old metal skewer.
But that whole spike, man, that whole skewer to the side.
Oh, my gosh.
That was pretty intense. But we go back to Mr. Kim and this actor and how good he is with looking up and seeing that the only concern that Mr. Park had was to get the son. Right. Get the son, get the car. Which, again, there's no reason why Mr. Park should feel anything but that. Right. Because he doesn't know this is a family. He doesn't know that his own daughter's dying in his hands.
Right. He doesn't understand.
But also, I think Mr. Kim realizes that he wouldn't even care. Right. Bottom line, he wouldn't even care. And that's, I think, what fuels him to go and... Just stab him and just take him out. Now, this... You think it's the end. That's the end of it. He's off. Yeah. He's gone. Kevin wakes up. It is what it is. We're going to get, a little closure. Just kind of like, okay, so the mom and the kid, mom and son survive.
Yeah. The daughter obviously
dies. And we go from there. Yeah. You're living a life of regret and you're suffering for what you did. That's not the case. Yeah. I think this is where the masterful directing comes into play, which is leading somebody down a different path, but also kind of not lying to you, but there's a veil. Right. Which was done beautifully, which I felt like was a whole different movie. I honestly felt like this last 15 minutes.
Yeah, like 10, 15 minutes.
Was a different movie.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Because you're seeing Kevin struggle to find acceptance in where his dad is. Right. Did you catch on when he went up to the mountain?
Not really.
Like it was still kind of like...
Up until like the moment the light started flickering.
Okay. I'm in the same boat. That's why I'm asking. I'm in the same boat. Yeah. I was kind of like, okay, he's kind of just, trying to fill a void. And then the lights go on. Yeah. And the Morse code goes on. Mm-hmm. I was like, this something's happening, right? And that's the first thing that Mr. Kim thinks of is that he knows exactly where to go. Yeah. I think at that point he knew who he was, he knew what he did, and he only has one place there's only one place he belongs. Right. Which is down in this basement. And then we're shown the sequence of him retreating back there and going back down there and accepting that this is what what's happening. And just the extremely sad parts. I mean, he writes out what looked to be 3-4 pages of a letter.
Yeah, at least.
To Kevin, to his son, nobody else.
Who he doesn't even know if he's alive or not.
Doesn't even know if he's alive. Doesn't even know if he's in prison. Doesn't even know.
Doesn't know anything.
If he even knows Morse code.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was a good, probably, they don't specify the time period. They specify that after things quiet down, which has to be at least a year or so, in my opinion.
Right. Well, yeah, especially if, like, Kevin had the time to heal.
From a brain surgery. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like a lot of time. A whole new family moved into the house.
So this man has been down there trying to communicate with his son for
a long time.
A hopeless communication. Yeah. And we finally get some glimmer of hope that he deciphers this Morse code and realizes his dad's still alive. Yeah. That to me is kind of the icing on the cake, is that, again, down at the bottom with nothing, and all they have is each other. Right. And then this whole, everyone kind of, I think for the majority, was okay with this next sequence, which was the hopeless adventure to buy this house. Right. Okay. To save his dad. Yeah. Everybody kind of thought this was happening.
Yeah, I thought it was happening.
You thought he was actually gonna graduate college, get a job, buy the house, save his dad. And I love that in this dream sequence, you see Mr. Kim walk back up the stairs.
Well, the thing that got me where I was like, oh, this isn't actually happening, is that Mr. Kim came back up the stairs and looked exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah. I was like, his hair's the same length.
After
he
what
doesn't
would
have a
have
beard.
been
Years.
But the reason it's another technique used. Bong Joon-ho was able to successfully give a proper death. Mm-hmm. And I forget the term that's used for it, but it's an easy way to accept death.
Yeah.
By the end of this, and when you wake up and Kevin's still laying there, and there's just this absolutely no chance this is going to happen, and he accepts that.
Yeah.
It's inevitable death.
Right.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that's, not a happy ending at all.
No.
But it ties up. Everything ties up. And that's just, you can see why it won all the Academy Awards. It won all the awards. I know it's won probably 2-3 dozen total awards.
Yeah, it won at least 4 Academy Awards.
4 Academy Awards, and again, this is extremely controversial. That happened was it won Best Picture and also won Best Foreign Film. To me, I see nothing wrong with that, but the argument was that how can a Best Picture and then a different country win Best Foreign and Best Picture?
Yeah, that's a little...
I think that's a little racist.
I think if they're going to give you Best Picture...
What I'm trying to say here is that I think it was well-deserved in everything that was won.
No, absolutely.
It was incredible to see a Korean man standing up there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
For Best Picture and Best Foreign Film. Best Director, too, I think it was.
Yeah. I think it was like Best Adapted Screenplay or something else.
I can't believe that. And it was so cool to see how respected this man was.
Right.
Martin Scorsese gave him a nod. And you could see he was just in bliss up there, which is well-deserved.
Yeah.
Well-deserved.
Best Picture, Best Director, International Feature Film, which is foreign film,
Yep.
and then Best Original Screenplay.
So
and it was nominated for Best Production Design and Film Editing. Yeah.
That's a clean sweep.
Pretty much.
Honestly. When somebody wins Director and Best Picture, clean sweep.
Yeah.
I think that to me is satisfying enough. So my question to you is, was this experiment successful?
Absolutely.
Good.
I think it helped me regain my level of trust for you.
That puts
suggesting movies.
A lot of pressure on me now.
Because there's been definitely at least a few movies where you've been like, oh, this is a really good movie, you should watch it. And then I watched it and I was like, that movie was awful.
True that. No, true.
It was a good movie, but I didn't like it because it was
weird or crossed the line. Whatever.
Crossed a lot of lines.
That's definitely something that I've learned to accept in the past couple of years, especially with Stephanie around, is that I have a very broad taste. I like extremes, and I like to think that an average viewer will like those extremes.
Right.
But I can't expect that.
Right.
And there are some films out there that, like you said, that I praise, but I will never have you watch.
Which I appreciate.
There's a couple out there that I will never have you watch, or never, not say have.
There's a few that I know about that I know I will never watch, even if you try to get me to watch it.
Yes. There's some of those that we're talking about, Steph won't even watch. I will never let her watch. But this worked. I was extremely hopeful, and I'm glad it paid off, and I'm glad that both you and Lee loved it. I'm glad that we could have a decent conversation about it.
I will say that I was, in the first half of the movie, I was surprised by how funny it was.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of humor. And I was like, Lee and I were laughing, and I was like, what?
And it's okay
this
to
doesn't
laugh.
seem like the kind of movie that I should be laughing at, but it's funny.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with the ramen.
Yeah.
I thought that was so just a funny little bit in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
She's like, what's ramdon?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Sirloin? What the heck? What's going on here? You know?
I have to Google it to make it.
And the mother eating it. And
there was just a lot of stuff in the beginning of the movie where I was like, why am I laughing? Why is this so funny?
Two different shifts, man. Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think there was a single point where I laughed after the housekeeper shows back up.
No. There's no real lightheartedness after that halfway point.
Yeah.
You know? Definitely.
The score was incredible.
Score was great.
It was mostly strings, like violins and stuff, and that I think definitely added a level of intensity. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think when they use strings like that, it blows my mind and really freaks me out.
No, I agree. Well, and the whole, that's a good relation to the Dong Sung scary sequence.
Yeah.
The addition to what was happening with the score there made it even more freakier, man.
Yeah. For the most part, I didn't notice it, but when it was really intense, I was like, wow, I can really hear these strings. Every once in a while, there was a slight chorus of voices that was kind of spooky. It was good. I really appreciated the way that just everything was used in this film.
Well, that makes me very happy that you're starting to see these things.
Yeah.
Not starting to see these things, but you're you're appreciating them a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
And that's kind of my goal here, is that I think this was a good introduction movie to foreign films, to art films, to complex films that a lot of people should shy away from, you know? And I will do my best to try to keep them on an even level.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while we can go a little deep.
Yeah. And of course, I've got a couple in my back pocket there. I'm excited that we can do a comic book movie, that do this kind of movie, and then jump back to
something a little silly.
Something a little, what they call mindless action. I mean, definitely next week we're going to be a lot different. Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
We're going to be kind of going back to the Justice League, you know. We have a lot of enthusiasm.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, we got what? Next Wednesday?
Wednesday the 31st, Godzilla vs. Kong comes out on HBO Max.
So that's our next big episode. Mm-hmm. We'll try to get it out same time.
Yeah, around Monday. Probably it'll be Monday the 5th.
Yeah.
Hopefully Tuesday at the latest.
We're working on Monday, Tuesday, kind of just the fact that we've had friends and family listen to it.
Yeah, and like give us feedback too. It's really cool.
That's enough for me, man.
Yeah.
And of course, I think at the bottom line, we're not doing this. We're doing this for a conversation and for people out there that are similar.
Yeah.
But in the majority of it, it's just to shoot
out.
The shit and hang out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I like about it. And if we're recording it, we're recording it. You know what I mean? But I think last episode did pretty well.
Yeah. It was a little long, but
a little long. And we got to give a shout out to Lee for spending
17 hours editing
17 hours editing it. We'll sit here and we'll praise her all day for that. For real. I thank Benji for watching it.
Yeah.
And
I had a good time. I mean, and if any of you listening haven't watched it yet, and you listen to this all the way through, and you think it sounds interesting, I would definitely
please watch it.
Recommend it.
Sorry for the spoilers, but you know this is
yeah, probably should have put a disclaimer at the beginning.
No, that's okay. Again, it's all about conversations, all about just doing what we can with this community and share us, man. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing right now is that if you have an hour to listen, if you're on a long drive, just listen.
If you're doing some mindless work or like housework, cleaning up around the house, give us a listen. We are on all of the
platforms.
Thank you.
I think it's pretty impressive we were on iTunes now. That was a big feat. I had a bunch of people asking me that where else to watch or where else to listen. And I kept having to say, well, YouTube's your best chance. iTunes.
You got YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, pretty much anything, any platform.
I think two easiest ones right now, YouTube and iTunes.
Yeah. Apple Podcasts, it would be great if you guys would maybe subscribe.
Yeah.
Give us a little rating. That'd be really helpful.
Please comment.
Yeah. Comment on our Instagram. Let us know how we're doing. Yeah. If you have any feedback. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah.
It's been fun having this conversation.
And I guess we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.